Welcome to Part 2. The table turns. While the lights go out, the stream that froze at 2:17 a.m. becomes a fuse. It burns through message boards, family group texts, and the weary corridors of people who thought they'd run out of disbelief years ago. Somewhere between the pixels and the chill, a silhouette stood in a doorway with a ring of keys that caught the light like a whisper of metal. If this is your first time here, tap like and subscribe. We drag truth by the collar, and Part 2 walks into rooms where the bulbs hum, the dust hangs, and the names don't let go. Stay with me. What you're about to feel is the weight of years tilting.
Chapter 6, 2014 to now, The Door That Tried to Close. The morning after the freeze frame, the room exists in three places at once. In the memory of an abandoned municipal annex long since written off, in the shaky rectangles of screenshots, and in the private archives of a family that never stopped filing. The cinder block walls wear the same half-hearted paint. A rusted locker with a child star sticker still yawns open like a mouth mid-syllable. On the floor lies a curl of laminated plastic with 2014 blurred by dirt and time. No one says the names aloud at first. Names are prayers and court documents, and both are fragile. A pastor parks 2 streets away and walks the rest, shoes whispering over broken glass. He doesn't open the door. He photographs the hinge, one screw newer than the others, one silver among dull tin. He sends the image to a mother who hasn't slept through a night since spring of that year. She doesn't cry. She calls a cousin who knows a clerk who knows a box that might have the old custodial logs. The tragedy here isn't only the child not found. It's how the city learned to stack loss like paper. In Belen, New Mexico, the horizon keeps its poker face while a woman in her 60s walks the road where a pink bicycle once turned into a rumor. In Columbus, a grad student who wasn't alive in 2006 runs simulations of traffic flow outside a shuttered bar and discovers something simple and unbearable. The camera's angle left a sliver of sidewalk unobserved, the precise width of absence. In Minnesota, a farmer stands where a phone went silent and teaches a boy how to read wind through grass, because sometimes the land knows when it witnessed a secret. In East St. Louis, a winter dusk still leans over an intersection where a teal SUV idled with the driver door ajar. A deacon measures the distance from the shoulder to the streetlight and records the lumens as if writing a psalm. 5 American places, 5 clocks that forgot how to stop. Across these miles, strangers knit threads tighter than speculation. They refuse to turn grief into museum glass. They invite it to work. The word custodial has a way of hiding bigness inside small chores. A key log here, a maintenance ticket there, a camera pointed 5 degrees too proud of itself. A retired building engineer looks at the freeze frame and doesn't see a ghost. He sees wiring from the late 90s, a lamp standard from a discontinued catalog, the shadow line of a door that opens the wrong way for fire code. He drives downtown with a box of manuals that smell like exactly what they are, old paper and cold coffee. He shows a mother the schematic for a service corridor that never quite made it into the final blueprint, a pencil stroke half erased in one margin. Not a secret tunnel. A convenience. A shortcut that shortcuts accountability. The man with the keys is not a singular monster in this telling. He is a symptom, a beneficiary of unlit corners. The arithmetic begins to show itself. 1 broken camera plus 1 overworked caseworker plus 1 door that opens where the map forgets to look equals a place where a child can be lost twice. Once in body, then in paperwork. What breaks isn't a person. It's a ledger. In a county basement where the air tastes like damp envelopes, a clerk pulls a stack of sign-in sheets long misfiled under non-critical, and finds 3 lines overwritten in a different hand. The dates flank a week everyone remembers wrong because denial is a kind of calendar. A volunteer overlays the entries with a timeline of shift changes and notices a pattern that had been hiding like a grin in bad light. A key ring logged at hours when no one should have been in that room, a maintenance call that doesn't match any repair, a camera offline that miraculously kept time. The clerk wants to slide the paper back into the dark. Instead, she scans it, sends it to the pastor, the mother, the deacon, and the farmer, and for a moment the country is stitched together by a light that doesn't need sirens. The ledger talks further than anyone expects. In the margins of a 2006 bar renovation permit, someone jotted a supplier's code for a frosted glass pane replaced the week after the disappearance, and attached an invoice for disposal. In an evidence closet inventory from 1989, someone wrote "film roll miscut" with a question mark, then never wrote again. None of this is proof. All of it is a story trying to admit it knows the ending. The annex door opens under a sun that refuses to shine any different for revelation. Inside, the sour paper smell, the locker with the star sticker, the floor scabbed with paint flakes. The torn corner of laminated plastic isn't an ID. It's the useless shard of a sign-in badge for a contractor whose name is a common noun and therefore hard to search. A pastor places it into a bag the right way. A mother runs her thumb along the rim of the locker and says nothing. The evidence here is not theatrical. It is ordinary to the point of insult. And yet the ordinary is where truth likes to sit, patient as a judge who has heard every version of the story. The engineer crouches by the baseboard and points to a line of dust interrupted by a faint rectangle. Once there was a small camera. Once it watched this room. Once it was moved. The path from the annex runs like a vein toward the river. Along the bank, where reeds write frail cursive on the wind, a tangle of wire and plastic lies half buried. A deacon lifts it like a wounded bird. The hobbyist who sharpened the freeze frame breathes an "oh" that isn't triumph. The farmer says, "It's been here a while," the way men say weather will do as it pleases. Back at the annex, the light fails the way bad bulbs do, haltingly with dignity. The pastor unslings a portable lamp and floods the room with a kinder kind of brightness. On the back of the locker door, under the chipped paint, someone had written 3 numbers in a letter, then painted over them as if trying to untell the truth. The mother takes a photograph. The engineer writes the code down. Across the country, phones begin to buzz as images move from one circle of stubborn people to the next, and the next after that. The ledger's code matches a discontinued archive tag from a long-closed storage vendor. In another city, in a facility that rents out units taller than history and colder than luck, a lock clicks open with a bolt cutter's sigh. The door rolls up. Inside, nothing theatrical again. Boxes. A desk lamp with a broken neck. A manual for a camera that was supposed to watch a door that wasn't on the map. In the last box, beneath foam no one had the budget to buy, a stack of mini DV tapes labeled in a quick, slanted hand with the kind of care men reserve for secrets they think no one will understand. The hobbyist's laptop whirs as if rehearsing for a larger task. The first tape is snow. The second is a janitor's shoes and the point of view of a push broom. The third is the annex room, a rectangle of light, a door opening inward, a ring of keys like a metal whisper. You want a face, a name, a confession that erases years. The tape offers routine instead, restless comings and goings, a pattern of entry at impossible hours, a hand setting down a small lunch, a pause that lasts too long to be about nothing. On the 7th tape, something else. An afternoon with voices in the hall that do not enter, the camera tilted a little higher than before, a sliver of the corridor visible through the door, a child's shoe in the edge of the frame that could be any child's shoe. The pastor says, "Breathe." The mother doesn't. The hobbyist pauses, scribbles the time code, and plays the last minute one more time. There, in the reflection of the locker's dull sheen, the barest ghost of a second door, a suggestion of movement, an angle that shouldn't exist unless there is another way in. The engineer traces the geometry on a notepad, drawing straight lines like they owe him money. The farmer, who knows about gaps under fence rails and the ways creatures make their own routes, nods with an expression that respects both luck and design. The deacon closes his eyes as if listening for a key turning in a far-off lock. And the mother, she does what mothers do in the last second of part 2. She stands. She wipes her thumb free of paint dust. She says the 5 names, clear and whole, and the sound changes the room. Phones begin to ring, not with the empty politeness of years past, but with a new tone that startles even the prepared. In one city, a records manager calls back before the second ring. In another, a contractor's timesheet surfaces with hours that do not belong to any payroll. Across the river, a scrap dealer finds a camera head in a bin that shouldn't have had electronics at all. And in an office where granite mottos hang heavy, a light that has been off for decades clicks, once, twice, then holds. We don't see the face. Not yet. What we have is geometry and tapes, and a second door that may open onto every year we thought was dead. The last frame is not a person. It's the gap itself, neatly drawn by accident, ready to be walked through. If you're ready to walk with us, keep the names loud.
If you are enjoying this true crime story, kindly smash the like button, subscribe and share so you can be notified whenever part 3 is ready anytime soon.